Hello friends, Tanya here for Trinity Stamps, and today we're going to play with the new Glimmer foil, the Shimmering Winds. It goes with a bunch of different products from this product suite. This is the stencil that coordinates with it called Seasonal Winds. These all came out last year, I believe, in the fall, and you can see it's almost a perfect match. We also have the Beautiful Breeze stamp and coordinating die set. That goes with the breeze wind theme going here. We have the Winter Winds stamps and dies also. And there's one more piece. All of these coordinating dies work beautifully with the stamp sets. And then we have the stitched Swirling Winds. So we have stencils, we have dies, we have glimmer foil, and we have the stencil. We are going to use the Opal glimmer foil, which is available in the Trinity shop now. There are a bunch of different Spellbinders Glimmer Hot foil rolls in the shop. Check that out. Lots of colors. Here you can see the foiling on our cardstock. I had to brush off some of the extra, and I had foiled that on a 9 by 4 inch piece of cardstock. I'm going to make a slimline card, and I made it a little bigger than I would need so I can trim off the extra. Next, we're going to use that stitched die and add that beautiful detail. And now we're going to use antique linen and old paper distress ink here, and I'm going to add some very neutral, light, creamy color to this cardstock. I just want this to be a nice background that the leaves that I'm going to add later will be able to just shine on. Just quickly adding this with a blender brush. Would I be using a blending buddy, the new round flat brushes that Trinity Stamps has? Yes, I certainly should be, but I don't have enough of them, and I've already used all of them for different colors. I have to get myself a couple more so that I have one for every color family. I need one for browns and grays, and I think I need one for yellows and greens. Yeah, so I need to get a few more. Here we are with our ink blended background. It looks kind of splotchy right now, but hang in there, it's going to look better. I'm spattering some clean water on there. Okay, sort of clean water. And some liquid pixie dust that I've watered down. I keep that in my little palette here because I like to spatter it on all the things. Next, we're taking another piece of cardstock and we're going to use Burning Ember, Harvest Moon, and Wicked Elixir. These are the new Distress Mica stains for the Halloween season of this year. And I'm going to use those to create a shimmery multicolor piece of cardstock to cut out our leaves for this card. I started out with the darkest and I'm going to end with the lightest because they do cover each other a little bit. And then I will heat set this to get it nice and dry. We're going to take out our modern embossed slimline panels, and I'm taking the second from largest because I want a little white outline around our element or our main panel on the front of the card. And I'm taking that spritzed cardstock and I'm die cutting those leaves multiple times. I'm also going to stamp and heat emboss the large sentiments from this stamp set, and it will say autumn greetings. I used some juicy embossing ink, and I'm going to pull out this brass embossing powder. Copper would have looked good too, so would gold. I just wanted brass this time. And I sprinkle that over our inked sentiments, and then we'll heat set those so that they will get nice and raised and shiny. These sentiments are a great scripty font, and I love the thickness of these letters. Between the size and the scripty boldness of these sentiments, they make the perfect front of your card sentiments. There are coordinating dies that cut very closely to the stamping, and that adds another beautiful component to this. Next, we're going to take some scattered straw I think it's crushed olive, and crackling campfire. And these are Distress inks again. And we're using those to add color to this stamp because we're going to stamp the inside of the card. I know, can you believe it? I'm stamping it before I finish completing the front of the card. Let's put that one on the calendar. Adding the crackling campfire at the end here, and then because it's just so bold, I decided that I wanted to add some antique linen Distress Oxide over the top because this is an opaque ink. It will cover and mute this ink a little bit so it's not quite so bold. I did stamp it off once so it isn't covering them completely, and you can see that it did gently mute those down a little bit. Next, I'm taking the long sentiment from this stamp set and I'm adding that to the inside. I'm going to stamp that with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink at the bottom of the front of the card, or excuse me, the inside of the card, and it just reads, "Wishing you a beautiful and blessed season." I do stamp that a couple of times to get a good solid black inking on the inside of the card over those bold leaves. Next, we're going to assemble the front of the card. I did add a little bit of scrap cardstock behind this panel because I only used 80-pound cardstock and I did do a lot of things to it. We've got a nice border matting our main panel here, and you can see all of those leaves that I cut with that coordinating die. I'm going to use the stamp image here to help me figure out roughly where these should go. You wouldn't have to use the stamp as a guide, but I figure why struggle when I can have this quick cheat to help me get things organized. Now I did die cut 2 or 3 or 4 passes of that. It was at least 3 passes of that die. So there are so many different leaves in here. I wasn't being terribly picky, just trying to get roughly the right leaf and a nice mix of colors as I was going across the card front. I could have put a whole lot more leaves on, and I could have glued them on the inside of the card. I did that on a different card. I could have done that again, but I really wanted to use the stamp this time and use the multiple ink coloring method. Now I'm just going to tack these down with some glue here. You could certainly use the Crafty Gluefriend here. I just can't. I'm allergic to it. I'm allergic to so many glues, and I know I say that every time, but that's to explain why I'm not using the Crafty Gluefriend, which is an awesome glue, and I would love you to give it a try because it is delightful. We have just about all of our leaves assembled. Now it's time to add a little extra thickness behind our sentiment pieces. I've cut 2 extra pieces of heavyweight white cardstock with the die that I used to die cut each of those sentiment pieces, and I'm gluing those together to stack them up. I really like the look of a raised sentiment, and it's really convenient to be able to just stack some extra die cuts behind them. No tiny cutting of foam tape or anything. You just do some die cuts and glue them together, and super easy. So we've got autumn and we've got greetings, and now I have to figure out how I want to line them up on this card. There are so many ways that I could do it. We could do it stacked, we could do it linear, we could do it kind of diagonal across the front, and I settle on linear, just kind of trying to settle it between different leaves and trying not to cover up too much of that beautiful shimmery foiled wind swirl. It is really pretty. If you haven't used the Opal Glimmer foil, it is amazing. It creates a beautiful tone on tone. It's kind of like my favorite embossing powder, the White Satin Pearl. Love it. Next, we're going to take out the Black Magic crystals. These just came out this month also, and they are like little chameleons. They work so great. Just like the Twilight and the Sunset, or was it Sunrise? The crystals that came out in August that were really awesome. Or was it July? My months are starting to blur together. I can't believe it's September already. But these have a beautiful orange to black look to them, and they really go well with these leaves. That's the first card that I made. I didn't do that one on screen, but I really had fun, and it's kind of inspired this card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please take a moment to do that now. I know I say this every time, but I still want you to do it. If you're interested in any of the product that I use today, check that description box below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. Until next time, here's a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.